So we're rolling.
So
what do we do now?
You're listening to the Sales Tax People podcast.
what if you were overpaying your sales tax by $90,000 a year and you didn't even know it? On this episode of the Sales Tax People podcast, the guys break down exactly what to look for when choosing a sales tax platform and provider. Whether you're a controller, a VP of finance, or an advisor helping a client navigate their sales tax exposure, this one's for you.
First of all, we played golf for the first time in a long time.
Bro, that was epic.
It was okay fun.
We should do that.
It was fun being with you guys.
Shout out to Sand Hollow Resort for allowing us to come over there and play golf. That was sweet.
We're trying to pull in sponsors.
Maybe. The highlight to me was hole 18 when we needed to make birdie to beat the course.
Specifically, you're shouting out that moment.
Just that very moment, because that was the moment. You and Jenner had missed the putt, and so it was like, this was it. If we're going to beat the course, then I have to make the putt.
And you did.
And I was really nervous, but came through and right in the front of the cup, just a half a rotation in. It was pretty cool.
It was quite beautiful.
This isn't the most humble I've ever seen Paul, but
that's not what you call a humble brag. Yeah, that was not a humble brag.
It was just a very proud moment for me, you know?
It was a solid
that we could come through and we could beat the course.
That moment is special no matter how poorly you play, right?
Yeah.
You're coming in, you've shot 100.
Yeah.
Right? But you birdie the last hole.
Right. You're coming back for sure. You're coming back.
Yeah. Birdies feel good no matter when they happen.
But you didn't shoot 100, so it was even better.
Even better.
What did you shoot? Even par.
Oh, we were one under.
Oh, we were one under.
We beat the course.
We beat the course. It was three of us. We beat the course, and we beat Danny.
You did.
What did you shoot?
73.
He was one over.
Oh, my gracious. Yeah. Incredible.
With a very ugly end of the front nine. I think I went par, or no, I went bogey, double bogey, and a 3-hole stretch on that front side. And then.
Yeah. But for Danny.
I brought it back.
That's
together.
ugly.
Yeah.
For most of us.
That's normal.
Yeah.
That's par for the course.
We loved being out there.
Yes.
We loved hacking. We loved the people that we were with. And even if we shot 100, we're happy.
Am I good?
Yeah.
It's true.
You said you have a lot of work to do, but that was the most impressive thing. Like the thing that stood out the most is two things. First of all, like just the way you're playing with your new approach to your setup and your swing. And the other thing about that is the fact that I think you found the instruction on Facebook, right? You just found some random guy on Facebook?
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Because that doesn't usually work. It usually is like not a good thing for someone to like be like, oh, here's this reel and I'm going to check it out. And that sounds good. I'm going to try that. It usually doesn't work out.
Well, first and foremost, I appreciate that within my algorithm are golf instructors. Number two, I appreciate that there are golf instructors out there that are not trying to help me recreate a swing that the pros use.
Yeah.
Because I'm not as athletic as the pros, and I'm not going to be able to swing as hard as the pros. So I need a swing that works with my anatomy, right? So anyway, that's what this guy does. His name is Jim Venatos. Venatos. I don't know.
Shout out to Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
He's been instructing for about 30 years, and he's just come up with a swing approach. The way you approach the ball, the way you swing and set up, and your balance. It's really just a couple of things that you have to remember in the swing. Even though I can't quite remember them, it's simple. And I found him on social media.
Bam.
He's on Facebook and Instagram, and I now follow him.
Jimmy. We got to find Jimmy. He'll be on the podcast someday.
Yeah.
Bring in Jim.
Or you'll be on his.
Shout out to a future colleague of mine who was here back in the 90s.
A future colleague.
Did I say future?
Yes.
Former colleague.
Former.
That would make more sense.
The future.
Hey, we're about to hire somebody? Let's go.
Yes. Neil Stevens.
Oh.
Do either of you, have y'all met Neil Stevens?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
He worked at Pizer Johnson?
He did.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you go out and watch Jim Venatos, you'll be reminded of Neil Stevens.
Oh, no kidding.
Just a shout out to good old Neil. He called me Action Jackson, and I can't remember what I called him.
Probably just Neil.
No,
It's probably something inappropriate.
Nick. I called him Nick.
What?
He called me Action Jackson. He called me Jackson instead of Jason, and I called him Nick.
Instead of Neil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that.
Good guy.
Okay.
We both graduated UTA with accounting degree.
Shout out, UTA.
I mean, speaking of accounting,
Nick, if you're out there, shout out Nick.
hopefully he's listening at some point.
Yeah, he was in sales tax until he retired, so
He might be one of our tens of followers. That
he
we have.
might be one of our tens of followers.
Yeah. Okay. Or dozens. Trying to get to the hundreds. We'll see. Speaking of accounting,
Accounting?
and speaking of like finding what works for you, that is the question of the day. Is when you are looking for sales tax advice for a sales tax service provider, sales tax software, just generally speaking, if I'm a company or I'm an advisor that's helping a company find the right sales tax fit, right, for all the services and software that you might need, what are some of the main things that you should look for? If you're that company that, you're the controller, you're the VP of finance that's in charge of sales tax for your company, or you're that advisor that, your company, your client is looking to you for, sales tax help, what are some of the things that I should look for?
Paul, you want to begin or you want me to begin?
You can begin. I have a few things in mind, but
Two things come to mind. I'll say right off the bat, you're not looking for a set it and forget it solution.
no.
We say here that if you set it and forget it, that you may regret it, right? So you are looking for providers who have implemented technology and automation that can be really powerful and useful and create some efficiencies in the processes and the systems that you have. But you're also looking for a partner who can legitimately take the sales tax responsibility off your plate, right? We really want to help companies gain peace of mind when it comes to sales tax. So the idea is a combination of what I say is platform and people. So you're looking at the platform, what it offers, what it provides by way of efficiencies and automation, and you're looking for the right people to help you with that system and to ensure that the system stays in place. So right off the bat, what comes to mind is the right platform and the right people.
Yeah, when you talk about platform, I think initially, initially I think of Nexus. Where do you have Nexus? Where do you have a tax responsibility? And so depending on the products and services you're selling, you want to make certain that you have a system that's capable of collecting the right amount of tax and the right place where tax needs to be collected from the right jurisdictions. That's huge. And that can be a simple, I'm an e-commerce company, and that could be as simple as a shopping cart. Shopify tax being probably the most common for us.
Yep.
Yeah, that works great. Yeah, it's going to collect tax on the sale of this speaker. Tangible person property, pretty simple and straightforward. So it can be something simple and basic like a shopping cart, or it could be something completely robust because you're providing construction services on a lump sum or separated contract. And so you need a pretty robust system. So you got to make sure you have a right platform that's collecting the right amount of tax on the right products and services that you're selling.
Yeah, complexity matters, right? You don't want a system that's so simple that it doesn't take into account some nuances or complexity
Right.
in what you sell, right?
Right.
We focus on where you sell, Nexus,
Yep.
what you sell, the taxability of those items, and how you sell it, right? What platforms are they on? Are you the responsible party for collecting that tax? So when you're thinking about that, you don't want a system that's so simple it's not managing some of the nuances or complexities that you have.
Yeah.
But if you're just selling microphones across the U.S., maybe in Canada, around the world, then you need something that can essentially impose the tax in the right jurisdiction at the right rate,
Yep.
but probably everything you sell is taxable unless you're collecting a certificate from somebody that's buying from you, right? So you also then don't need the most robust system out there.
Yeah.
And so you have to be careful when you're looking at that, because people will try to sell you on simple when your situation might be more complex.
Yeah.
Or they might sell you on complex when your situation is pretty simple.
Yeah.
I think both of you have said it. Some of the most peace of mind that people have had are ones that we have a chat with. We learn a little bit more about their business. We learn where they sell, what they sell, and how they sell.
Yep.
And we say, you're actually in pretty good shape.
Yep.
You probably don't need to do anything right now.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, we're so glad we found you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for this opportunity to chat with you, because, we've been told that we need this, and this, right?
Right.
Which is can be pretty significant. So
I just ran into a situation earlier this week, actually, with a client who said, I was told I need to set up this, and this, and this. But what I chose is I'm just going to charge a flat rate in each state. And I was like, oh, okay. So you're going to disregard all the local taxes and the different rates. And you're just going to, yep. As long as we just collect 7%, then we're okay.
Allow us to be your first, second opinion.
Yeah.
When that's the decision that you make.
Yeah, you're okay until you're not okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in sales tax, this is a pretty consistent theme, is exposure and responsibility. It is quiet until it's not, right?
Yeah.
It can get real loud real quick.
Yeah.
And so I like your question, because it at least has someone thinking about what to do to deal with sales tax versus the person that's decided it's not an issue and I don't need to worry about it. I don't even need to have a conversation about it. Or some people don't want to have a conversation because they fear the responsibility or the exposure could be pretty significant. But in sales tax, every single month that you take that position is another month where that exposure can grow, along with penalty and interest.
Yeah, I find it even with, especially, say, an employee of a company that has been at the company long enough and they've been in, quote unquote, in charge of their sales tax. And it becomes more and more concerning, or they're more and more afraid to actually dive into it to see how bad it is.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, like, the longer you wait, the worse it's going to be.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the longer you wait to even have the conversation, really understand what's going on with your company.
Yeah.
And not necessarily how bad it is, but more tying it into what we're talking about here of what is really the best setup for me? What are the questions that I need to be asking, or that I need someone to ask me? And, what's the true, process for me to come to that point of both understanding exactly what's best for us and then taking the right steps to put the right platform in place.
Yeah.
Right.
The fear with someone at that level in that situation is that they might come across as incompetent or the villain in this story. And really, if they will take a step forward, they could end up being the hero of the situation, right?
Yeah, the hero's journey is very real in what we do. Right? In our entire process, it's very much that flow, you could say, that path and that journey of identifying, just issues, looking at the big picture, the macro and the micro, you could say, with sales tax. It takes into account the platform. You mentioned talking to companies that we look through everything and just say, you're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
You can peel back some of those layers and go into more detail, even with some of that's, say someone that's on Shopify and they're using Shopify tax.
Yep.
And we just had a conversation yesterday with a client that's on Shopify tax, and we brought them on recently as a client. It's like, it's probably not enough for you, because there's enough nuance to what they're selling with supplements and protein powders and protein bars, and to where they need a more sophisticated tool.
Right.
And then there's the other side of that, where we've recently had clients that are using one of these more robust sales tax engines, and the one in particular that comes to mind is paying around $100,000 a year because of their transaction volume. And it's like, you know what? what you guys are selling is straightforward enough and simple. Like, you don't need that tool.
Yeah.
And, you know, you might as well pay $5,000 a year, and, you know, no one's going to be upset about saving $90,000.
100%.
It all comes down to, you mentioned people and platform, and we talk about it constantly, both internally and what we're doing, you know, with our team and our employees. And it's very much a part of the answer to, you know, the question that we're talking about here of like, what is the best approach for you? It's simply put, yes, look at the platform that you need to be on, look at the platform that maybe you need to have in place internally, and without a doubt, talk to some people.
Okay, you just changed my mind. I told you there were two things that you need. There's actually just one thing that you need. I changed my answer. It's collaboration.
There you go.
If you want to build some confidence, you want to collaborate with a sales tax professional who's agnostic to the systems and the approach, but they're not agnostic to your situation and your peace of mind, right?
Yeah.
They're really looking for the right answer for you to help you gain confidence in the decisions that you're making. And so you really need a good partner to collaborate with when it comes to what is the best approach to the best system.
Yeah.
For me.
There's just so many different aspects to it. I mean, you talk about where you have a tax responsibility, where am I responsible to collect tax, but what am I responsible to collect tax on? Or what am I liable for? But then you get into who you're selling to, right? Well, I sell to government entities, or I sell to these 501(c)(3)s, or I sell to these customers. Well, you can get this certificate or that certificate to avoid the tax. So now you get into certificate management. Then you get into, you know, use tax. I purchased this for resale, but then I ended up using it or giving away as a promotional item or as a giveaway. And now you have to, you know, assess use tax liability. So you got the use tax aspect. There's just so many different.
I have a question about that. Is it use tax or use tax?
Use tax.
Use tax. Use guys need to pay tax because you use that item.
Well, it's tricky because it's a consumption tax, right? So it's based on the use of the item. So it's a use tax, but you used it. So it's a used tax. You see what I did there?
I see what you did there. You use both pronunciations very well. Excellent.
It's crazy.
Yeah, use tax is probably something that, you know, we could cover on another episode. But in the world of post-Wayfair, what we're dealing with most of the time is where you sell, what you sell, and how you sell it, because there's this responsibility that you're going to have across the U.S. and Canada to collect and remit tax on what you sell. But use tax is another important aspect of the sales and use tax realm. And when you have a responsibility to pay tax on items that you've purchased and maybe you didn't pay tax at the time of the sale,
right?
But you use it in such a way that it requires a remittance of tax.
Yeah.
So I don't want to delve deep into that, but I'm glad you brought it up because it's an important factor on the whole system.
For sure.
Making sure that you're looking at both sides of the coin.
Yeah, it's a perfect example of why collaboration is what you need when it comes to, you know, finding the right sales tax process for you.
Yeah.
Like another way to, you know, present that question is, what does sales tax compliance look like for you as a company, right? Or again, as an advisor, what does it look like for your client? It's very important to have a collaborative discussion like this that's specific to your company and all the facts.
Right.
And it's not just about, you don't want to have this conversation because you're unsure about your exposure, your responsibility, your situation. If you believe that you have sales tax solved in your company, we still want to have a conversation with you. You still want to collaborate and walk through all of the steps to make sure that you've got all your bases covered. The last thing you want is you got registered, you got compliant, you got set up, you have the system in place, you believe that you have it solved, and then 4, 5, 6 years down the line, you're getting audited.
Right.
And then you find the blind spots that weren't observed. So my position is, and that's why my number one answer is collaboration. Whether you're unsure and you don't have a system in place, or you do have a system in place, you want to collaborate on your situation and your system.
Yeah, the worst problems that we've seen companies in recent history especially I know as I bring this up, you guys are going to think of the same companies and, that are now clients of ours. And the worst problems that we see are from companies that think they have it figured out, or they had an advisor that was telling them, and in most cases, if not every case, the advisor thought they had it figured out. Yeah. And in fact, they didn't. In one case, it's the advisor just doesn't have enough expertise and to really know the questions to ask and to know where the blind spots could be, and they don't look in the right places, and they ignore a lot of the important pieces that need to be approached.
No, that's brilliant. If you're a taxpayer or a company out there, or you're a trusted advisor to companies and taxpayers out there, collaboration is still the right answer, with a sales tax professional.
Yeah.
You'll want to make certain you get the front end system all correct, right? You're collecting it, you're administering it, but then also on the back end, we call it the front and the back end, but from the remittance perspective, you want to make certain that you got that platform all correct as well, because you want to make certain that your filings are on time, they're accurate, they're correct, you're reporting the proper schedules, local jurisdiction, so on and so forth. And there's a lot of different softwares and solutions out there for that as well. Some very cheap ones, some very robust ones, some white glove services like ours that we provide. All of that coupled with, the preparation for audit. I mean, just a lot of different aspects that come into being in compliance.
Yeah. As well. So you want to collaborate, and then you want to focus on the right platform or forms and the right people.
Yeah. A long time ago, I used to live in Texas, where next to you.
We miss you.
I miss Texas. But when I was in Texas...
Now you're talking used guys instead
used
of
guys.
I don't know what's going on. Used tax, used guys.
Where I was going with that was in Texas.
We miss y'all a lot.
I miss you guys. It's Texas in general, but the people. Anyway, that's a long story. But in Texas, every 3 months, 6 months, maybe every year, you're constantly checking, because of the deregulation of energy, the latest and greatest electric rates.
Yeah.
Who's going to provide the cheapest rates? Because it all comes from the same source, but with the deregulation of electricity.
You got 1,000 resellers.
You got thousands of resellers.
Selling incumbent electricity.
So you just get used to you get used to just checking the latest rates for electricity. But it's no different in sales tax with your business. If you've got somebody who's in the accounting space managing that, it's a constant reminder to just check it out. Just hey, what changed? What products are we adding? What locations are we adding? What platforms are new to the market? Should we consider a switch? What's working? What's not working?
Yeah.
And just do a refresher. At minimum, you got to do that every year. But, I mean, for growing businesses, you ought to be doing it every month or every 3 months.
You bring up a big one that creates some exposure, and that is not looking at the mapping of your products and SKUs
that's a
to
big
the
one.
tax codes that are inherent in your
That's
sales
a big
tax
one.
platform. Right?
For sure.
You've added SKUs, you've changed SKUs.
For sure.
Taxability has changed.
Yeah.
You've got different situations that come up. So there needs to be a consistent view of that.
Or it was set up 3 years ago and you weren't involved in it.
Yeah.
Or the right people weren't involved, and the mapping never even got completed.
Yeah.
We see that constantly, where someone's, again, paying a lot of money for a great tool.
Yeah.
But it never got set up correctly. In fact, if you don't set it up at all, it's usually these tools are going to set as a default to just tax everything everywhere.
Yeah.
And so what's the point of even having that tool? You're literally just burning and wasting that money, because you're not getting any of the value out of what 100%. The tool is meant to do.
Yeah. The other thing that's big is that, oftentimes there's a new hire. And so HR isn't communicating with the accounting department. Hey, we hired so-and-so and they're working from home now in New York. Well, that changes your physical footprint. Requires you to register for not only unemployment, corporate income, whatever it may be, but also sales tax. So something to keep in mind. A lot of times businesses overlook the physical nexus, given the fact that we have economic nexus in our market today. So they're like, well, I don't have a responsibility. I didn't make more than $100,000 or generate $100,000 in revenue or 500,000, whatever it may be. So just from an overall footprint perspective, company perspective, making certain that one hand is talking to the other hand.
Yeah.
Super critical.
Do hands talk?
Oh, they do. They do.
They at least speak body language, right?
Thanks for hanging out with us on the Sales Tax People podcast. If you want to talk about sales tax, or maybe you have an experience that goes along with something we talked about today, or maybe you just want to hear about how Paul's day is going, make sure you send us an email to podcast@sales.tax, or you can text us at 949-355-5098. See y'all again soon.